For this next problem, this is a bit hard, but do not worry, I have faith in you. It's still easy to solve. So the figure we have in item 3-8 is a, what do you call that figure? Well, I don't know what type of figure that is, but it looks kind of awkward to me. But I can see it's a rectangle that contains a bunch of semicircles. But don't worry, here's how we solve it. Look at the measure. We know that this one here is a rectangle. You see this rectangle here? That's a rectangle. This is 35 centimeters. And then there's a curved bar here. So our goal is to solve for the perimeter of the entire figure. And then this implies the application of area of the shaded region because I colored the figure up and then there's a hidden shape inside. So that's kind of easy pa rin. Although you might have a bit of more steps. But don't worry, it's still the same thing like what you did in the previous problem. Now here's what you're gonna do. First, look at the figure. Look at the figure closely. We have a rectangle here. The entire dimension of the figure is 75 centimeters. The entire height of the figure is 95 centimeters. So for the rectangle, don't think that the rectangle is 75 centimeters. That is wrong. Why? Because remember, it talks about the entire thing, the entire figure, including to where the circle is, to where the outbound of the circle is, this one. So therefore, that 75 centimeters also includes that teeny part which you see right over here. Now here's how you get it. First, do you see the 20 centimeters there in the circle? This semicircle here? If you see it, that's good. Do you know what does that pertain to? That is the diameter of the circle. And remember, we know we want to get this part. Using your deductive thinking skills, you need to get the radius. Because as you can see, this 20 centimeters, that pertains to the diameter. If we convert that to the radius, that's divided by 2. So remember that 20 centimeters will become 10 centimeters from here to the center point, and from the center point to the other end. And we know that this is also a radius, because radius does not only form from one side or one dimension, it can also form among all dimensions 360 degrees. So therefore, pwede pa rin ito. So therefore, this dimension here would be 10 cm. Yan. 10 cm ito. So ito hanggang dito ay 10 cm. Gets? 10 cm yan ha. 10 centimeters. Now that we have already gotten 10 centimeters, can we get now the dimension of the rectangle? Yes, we can. Look, this is 10 centimeters and this is 75 centimeters. Subtract by 10, you should get 65 centimeters here. So the length of the rectangle is 65 centimeters. But wait, we are still not yet done. Remember just what I said, the height of the rectangle is 95 centimeters. Remember what did I tell you? The height of the rectangle does not imply to this rectangle that you see here. It also intercedes with the top part which you see up there, the curve. So therefore, what we do about that? Again, just like what we did kanina with one of the semicircles that you see on outbound on one side, we can also do it on the horizontal side pala. We can also do it for the vertical side. But first, look at this. Remember, we need to get the diameter of the semicircle. And how do we get the diameter of the semicircle? If your answer is 65 minus 35, you are correct. And 65 minus 35 is 30 or 30. So this is 30 cm. Alright? So 30 cm to. Then, half of 30, we get the radius. So you know that this one here forms the radius. And the radius is, what's the radius? 15 centimeters. Very good. Now, we have 15 centimeters on the top part. And then subtract it from 95 centimeters. So therefore, what's the measure now of our rectangle? That's right. The measure of the rectangle now is 80 centimeters. So now you have already gotten the measure of every dimension. This is 65. Let me trace it with a pencil for you. This is 65. This is, 20. These two we don't know. But look, this is 80, right? 80 minus 20, and remember there are two isosceles marks. So therefore, we know that both lines are congruent. So 80 minus 20 is 60, right? And 60 divided by 2, can you guess what's the answer of the two lines? Yup, both of the lines should be 30 centimeters. Okay? So 65, 30, the curved part, 30, 35, another curved part, and 80. Now let's solve for the perimeter. To solve for the perimeter, it's very easy, but first, we need to get the curved part of the curved parts. And to get the curved parts, that's very easy. How do we get the curved parts? Well, here's what you do. First, look at this 20 centimeters, right? You can do pi. Remember, pi times diameter is the circumference of any circle. But remember, since it's half a circle, it's pi times diameter divided by 2. So therefore, it's pi times 10. Pi times 20 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 20 divided by 2 is 10. Pi times 10 is 31.4. So therefore, that's 31.4. Let me write it down for you. 31.4 plus dalawang 30, isang 35, and then, di ba remember, we have, ayan, look, 30, pi times 2, pi times 30, to give it the perimeter of this entire circle. But divide by 2, pi times 15. So 3.14 times 15, that would become, let me solve it for you. $47.1. 0, 11. Tama, 47.1. So plus 47.1. And then, plus 80 plus 65. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we should get 7 plus 65 plus 80. Now, when we add this up all together, let's see if we got the same answer. We know that this is 60. 35 plus 65 is 100. 100 plus 80 equals 180. 180 plus 60, 240. Right? So, 242. 240 plus 300. And then added with the 47.1. Yes, the answer is 318.5. That's the perimeter of the entire figure. Yes, yun yung sagot. Now, to get the perimeter of the semicircle, yeah, that's the one inside. Yung nasa loob. The diameter is 50 cm. However, to tell you the truth, it's super easy. You know why? It's 3.14 times 25 now. And since you memorize your multiplication table of pi, I have faith in you we can do this. So that's 1570 and 628. 5, 8, 7.85. So tama, 7.85. So that's the perimeter of the semicircle. Alright? And then, to get the area of the shaded region, ayan. To get the area of the shaded region, I did it in two ways. You will have to get it into centimeter squared and millimeter squared. So let's do centimeter squared first. But do not worry, I will show you a magic trick that we can do that we can convert centimeter squared to millimeter squared. I will show you the magic later on. But first, let's solve for the area. To solve for the area, of course, you will have to get the area of the entire figure. But first, let's work it out little by little with shapes. First, let's start with the rectangle. For the rectangle, it's 65 times 80. And that's easy for you. To do this, 65, 8, cancel 0, 40. 5,200. That's for the rectangle. Now what about for semicircle 1? For semicircle 1, which is the top part, remember it's 3.14 times the radius squared. It's 3.14 times 15 squared, which is 225. So 3.14 times 225, applying your table of pi, 6 plus 2, 8, 16. 1, 2, 4, 10. Yes. But remember, since it's a half circle, you're going to have to divide that by 2. So it goes like this. 35. 353. Yes. So dapat it's supposed to be 353.25. Then the last one is 3.14. Remember, 10 squared is 100. So tama, 3.14 times 100 is 314. So mabilis lang yan. Then we add this up all together. 5,200 plus 314 plus, ano isa? 353.25. 25. 4 plus 3, 7. 6. Tama. The answer is 5,867.25 centimeters squared. Oops! Di pa tayo tapos. Remember, we still have the semicircle inside. That just pertains to the area of everything. Kasi nga, we need to get the area of one semicircle and the other, and then the rectangle. Then we add this all together. But wait, meron pa tayong semicircle. So, hindi pa tayo tapos. So, we need to solve for the area of that first, and then deduct it afterwards. Yan. So, therefore, it's 3.14. You know, the 25 squared is 6.25. 625. Tama. To make life easier, six plus 2 is 8, 12, 2 plus 6, 16. Tama. 1962.5. Tama. That's 981.25 cm squared. Then what we do next is this. Remember this answer. What did we get? The answer that we get when we solve for the area of everything is, ano yung kinuha namin? 5,876.25. So we need to subtract that. Ayan. So that should be the area of the shaded region. But that is 4 centimeters squared. 4,886. But it has to be converted to millimeters squared. To do that, you have to multiply that by 100. Why do you have to multiply it by 100? Because remember, the relationship, 1 square cm is 100 square mm. Why do you say so? Remember 1 cm, we distribute the square, right? 1 is 1 squared. Cm squared is cm squared. Then 10 mm. But because you have to distribute square to all the factors, 10 squared is 100. So that's why it goes like this. So we multiply 4,886 by 100, or add 2 zeros in short, you should get 488,600 square millimeters. And that's it. We're done.